So far, this has been my hardest video to record, and I'm trying to keep it short, but it's our story. I wanted to do a video that's kind of a story about what brought us to the decision to do foster care, and so I've had a hard time getting this stupid thing recorded. I'm trying to keep it short, but I want to tell everything. So here we go. Take 58 or whatever it is. Our story started about 4 years into our marriage. My husband and I have both always wanted to adopt. It's something we wanted to do before we even knew each other. We met, we started dating, it was something that came up. It was very exciting to learn that we both felt the same about adoption, and that it was something that we both wanted to do someday. We wanted to try for our own biological kids first, and that was our plan, and then adopt someday down the road. No other details than that. That's literally, that was it. That was it. So 4 years into our marriage, we had 2 biological kids at the time. We had a 3-year-old little boy and a 1.5-year-old little boy, and we still wanted to try for maybe 1, maybe 2 more of our own biologically before adopting. So at that time in life, I was very interested in all things adoption. We had several friends who had fostered to adopt, and so I was very interested in that process. I thought maybe that would be something we would end up doing someday. I didn't know about foster to adopt until our friends did it. I've always known about foster care. For whatever reason, though, it was not something I ever thought about doing. And I think it goes back to when you don't know much about something, you don't think much about it. So once you see the need in an area that it really just shakes you to your core and you can't ignore it anymore, then you start doing something about it. There's a lot of bad things that are going on in this world. There is human trafficking, there's abuse, there are all kinds of horrible things happening in this world, and we should all be doing something to help. But there's usually one thing that just really drives us, one thing that we find ourselves extremely passionate about to the point where we can't ignore it. We have to, even if it wrecks our whole life, we have to do something about it. And foster care ended up being that for my husband and I. And the night that it happened, I will never forget. Because I was interested in all things adoption, I followed quite a few foster moms on Instagram. So one night I was scrolling through Instagram, our kids were in bed, my husband was watching sports, and we were on the couch, and I scrolled to this screenshot that one of these foster moms I follow had posted, and it was a screenshot of an email that DCS had sent out that night to all foster homes, and it was basically begging and pleading with foster families to open up more beds. If you were full, then please find more space. If you were certified but not taking in placements at the time, they were asking that you reconsider for that time because there was an overflow. The screenshot was a list of 23 babies and toddlers and infants. There were a few infants on there who didn't have anywhere to go. The shelters were full, the group homes were full, and all foster homes were full, or they weren't taking placements, and there weren't enough foster homes. So there were these babies sleeping in DCS offices downtown, which, by the way, are nasty. These offices are gross, they're dirty, they're old. They are no place for kids to sleep. And instantly, as a mom, because this is what moms do, I didn't even have to try. I put my kids in that place. What if my 3-year-old, my brave, independent 3-year-old, and my sweet, sensitive mama's boy 1.5-year-old were in those offices in that moment, scared to death, terrified, alone, confused, crying, and there's nobody to comfort them. They have no bed to sleep in. It wrecked me. I was bawling. My husband's looking at me like I'm crazy, wondering what I found on my phone that's making me act like this. So I showed him the screenshot, and he read all the ages and the gender of these babies and these infants: 2-month-old female, 3-month-old male, twin females, 6 months old, on and on he read this list. I explained to him what he was looking at, and it wrecked him. And forever we have been changed. From that moment on, we saw the need, and there was no way we could continue sitting in our comfortable, safe home with our big screen TV and our empty bedroom upstairs. Completely empty. Nobody's using it. And there are 23 babies sleeping in a dirty office downtown in that moment. It wrecked me. I could no longer live that way. So that was the moment that God used to take the blinders off for us to the point where we were going to do whatever it takes. There were a lot of questions and a lot of fears. So basically that night we had a long talk about what we were going to do, our game plan, and we just knew there was no turning back. We were going to figure it out. And so we needed to first learn, because we knew nothing really about foster care. We didn't even know where to start. So we contacted some friends of ours who had adopted through foster care. We met them for dinner, picked their brain, and they suggested we go to orientation for a licensing agency. We went to their licensing agency because we didn't know where to start. So we went to the orientation for their licensing agency and fell in love with them. They're a faith-based agency. It's not for everyone. It was a great fit for us. We were still very concerned about a couple things that we had learned that night. And one of the best pieces of advice we got was from the licensing worker that night, who said, she told us, just take the courses, get certified. And if at the end of the courses you realize there's something that you are not ready to do yet, then don't do it. Don't take a placement. That's all. At least you've educated yourself and you know more. So basically what happened is, at the end of the courses, after educating ourselves and learning a lot more about the system and about foster care, it took a lot of those fears away. A lot of those questions we had that made us think, oh, I don't think we can do this, took them away. We knew we could, and we knew we were ready. So I always suggest to people, take the classes, get certified, learn about this, and then make your decision. So that's what we did, and about 3 weeks after our home was inspected and our certification was finalized, we got our first placement, and he was a 7-year-old little boy, and he's actually been with us for almost 2 years. He's still with us, and he has been our only placement. So we are not experts. We have learned a lot about the system, about triggers, about how to handle different situations, biological parents. It's been a crazy ride. And there have been a lot of days where I have wanted to quit. And I know it's just because it's hard. And it's harder than what I would have to do if we didn't do foster care. Period. It's just harder than not doing foster care. So yeah, I want to quit a lot of days. But not one day since we've started this have I ever regretted our decision to do it. Watching this little boy's life change before our eyes, watching the transformation in him right before our eyes in the last 2 years has been life-giving. It has confirmed our reason for doing this. He won't be with us forever. We don't know what his future holds or what the rest of his story is going to look like, but we know that we are going to continue doing this. We're in it for the long haul, because there is a great need, and we know that we can do something about it. We can do something to help. So that is our story, and I could probably go on so much longer. Maybe I'll do a part 2 about more of the detail of after we started doing foster care and kind of go from that point to now. But that's our story, how it all started. So